Okay, so when you're communicating with the child, you have to use compliments, you have to use a proper voice. Okay, so this is the establishment of communication, means how you are going to communicate with the child. Then there will be establishment of the communicator. Establishment of communicator means who is going to communicate with the child. Usually, when you are communicating, it has to be from a single source. The communication has to always come from a single source. Okay, when you're communicating, that is, it cannot come from multiple sources. If multiple people start communicating, start talking, the child will have a problem in dealing with it, right? So it has to always come from a single communicator. Okay, that is from the reception area. The receptionist will be the communicator. When the child is taken to into the operatory, initially the assistant may be the communicator. Then when the dentist starts talking, dentist will be the communicator. In between, interchangeably also it can be used, but it should not be from a multiple source, because that can be confusing and the message clarity may not be there. Okay, so third is message clarity. So in message clarity, is I'm so sorry, your slides my also when we do it in the mobile, keep problem is na. So when we talk about message clarity, there are three things in message. Okay, in a message, whenever you communicate, there are three things. One is the sender, jolly message pathउँछ. Second is the medium, in which setting or to which the message is sent. Like message sent, it can be written also, it can be in the spoken words, action, right? And the receiver, the one who's going to receive the message, right? So in message clarity, three things. Sender will usually be the dentist or the receptionist, right? Then the medium may be the spoken words, the gestures, the clippings, and the receiver will be the child. Sometimes it can be the other way also. If the child wants to communicate, the child may be the sender and we may be the receiver. Okay, so there are four essential ingredients of communication. Okay, so the sender is, I already told you what the sender is. The message भनेको what are you going to what are you going to what are you going to say? That is the message that we are talking about here. Okay, that is, the message should not only include the words, it should include the facial expression, so that the person who's getting the message will receive it. Like अलिकति रिसाको जस्तो छ भने your message दिँदाखेरि facial expression चाहिँ smiling खालके दियो भने त the child may not believe in your message, right? So it has to be relevant to whatever message you are giving. The context or setting, कहाँनिर त्यो message दिइरहेछ. Like in an open air, if you're giving a message of general community, to different हुनसक्छ. In a setting like close by, if you're giving, the context is different, right? The receiver, who is receiving the message that you're giving. Sometimes it can be the parent, sometimes it can be the child. Okay, so that can be the receiver. Then comes the message should be understood in the same way by the sender and receiver. अब यसको लागि हामीले के देखेछ भने communication training and all मा they perform a game, है. तिमीहरूले पनि हेरेको छ होला, so many games that game is so famous in YouTube. Like लामो लाइनमा उभाउँछ and the last person will be told by the moderator ले एउटा particular thing last person like भन्छ कानमा, and then he'll show the expression also, like कसरी गर्ने भनेर देखाउँछ पनि, like, right? So hand gestures also will be shown, and then that message has to be forwarded to the people who are standing. The like एकको अर्काको पछाडि पछाडि they'll be standing, so they'll make that person turn and tell the message. Then that message will be carried so forth. Okay. Okay, so the message will be carried forth in that manner. And then the last person who receives the message will be told to say what it is. And many times it is seen that the person who receives the message in the last will give a totally different message from the first, the one that the moderator had given. The sender and the receiver don't perceive the message properly. Right? So there has to be a good fit between the message that the sender is giving and the person who is receiving. Receiver you have to re-ask it, right? So there has to be a fit, otherwise the message will not be proper. So in giving the message, you can use euphemisms because children may not be able to understand what you're saying, right? And And the communication can be both verbal, non-verbal, audio, visual, sabai hunu सक्छ. Okay. And next is voice control, but voice control is not a simple behavior management technique. You estimate say communication ke under they have included a part of it. But voice control is a little bit aversive kind of technique, which we'll be talking about in detail later. Right? The voice control भनेको चाहिँ के हो भने कहिलेकाहीँ when you're communicating, the child may not listen to you. The child may be screaming, shouting, yelling. And in order to get the attention of the child, you may have to modulate the tone of your voice in such a way that will startle the child, and the child will stop acting in that manner, and then the child will listen to you. Okay. So here, what is heard is more important. Okay. So like a sudden command to tell the child to stop crying and pay attention. And after that, once the child starts paying attention, the child, they may start paying attention, right? So once they start paying attention, you can carry on with your normal communication. Okay, you about our voice control in detail, we'll talk later. Okay, this was just a part of the communication. Then communication can be multisensory. You can use multiple senses like your hearing sense, the eyes, ears. Okay, so multiple senses can be used in communicating with the child. Okay, these are non-verbal means. So it helps the child to relax, like a smile. Okay, looking at the child in the eye. Okay, so especially it helps in 7 to 10-year-old children who have learned the ability to communicate. Okay, eye contact is more important here. So sitting at the level of the child and looking at the eye is important. It looks as if you're dominating the child. Okay, so sitting and speaking at the same level gives a friendlier and less authoritative communication. Okay, then there's another term known as problem ownership, which we need to include in all our behavior management technique. Problem ownership means using you messages and not using you messages and using I messages. You message use garda ke huncha bhane, when you use you message, it shows like you're blaming the other person. When you use I message, you are taking responsibility for the problem. Right? Like child, like you don't why don't you open your mouth wide? I didn't open my mouth wide, or the doctor is blaming me for not opening the mouth wide, right? So this way you can use my hands are too big, so I cannot put that in your mouth, inside your mouth. Please open a little wider. It shows that the problem is not in the child's mouth who cannot open it wide, but it's in your fingers which are big, so you cannot put the finger in his mouth. Right? Simple example. Okay, so instead of blaming the child, you have to take the responsibility of it. Right? Then another one is active listening. When you're listening to the child, it has to be active listening. Like right now, what you're listening is passive listening. Passive listening भनेको सुन्ने मात्रै हो. It may go in, may not going, and you don't interact. Active listening is listening properly. Like shaking your head, nodding your head, okay, I understand. Okay, so active listening especially is active listening is especially used in older children. It has a very good effect. Okay, and it's more important than non, because they think you're listening to them properly and you understand their problem. It shows that you understand their problem. So there's a smile, a frown on your face, like sad kura bhanda. All this shows active listening. A poker face, just blank face, it shows like as if you're not listening at all. Okay, so this also forms a part of communication. Another part is appropriate response. So when you're listening actively, you have to give appropriate response also, right? So this appropriate response that you're going to give should be based on the extent and nature of the relationship with the child, the age of the child, the motivational level of the child. Okay, so you should not use inappropriate response like showing anger, showing tantrum yourself, showing displeasure, or asking the child, don't be so talkative, keep short. This type you should not use. Those are inappropriate responses. Okay. Now, after this, we'll be talking about behavior shaping techniques. Do you have class after this?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll continue with this. Okay, so euta duita technique we'll talk today, and we'll do it gradually, because if you do it you may not understand. The first technique is tell, show, do. I'll highlight tell, show, do. This technique was given by Addleston in 1959. Okay, so Addleston gave the technique tell, show, do. It's important to know the name of the author. So tell, show, do, if you look at it, it has three components. Okay, tell, show, and do. Right? Tell भयो, show भयो, and do. Okay, so when you look at it, it has three components. First component is the tell part, second is the do part, and then the third is the show part, and then the do part. So tell means you're going to tell the child you're going to tell the child what you're going to do in the child. Okay, telling the child what is going to be done in the child is the tell part. Okay, so tell part we are going to tell the child what you're going to do. And when you tell the child, you have to make use of euphemisms. You have to tell in the manner the child understands. Young little older you have to tell it in that manner itself. Okay, so that is the tell part. Now, like when you're going to tell, if you're going to tell about filling, like I'm going to I'm going to clean all the black bacteria from your teeth using this machine. It is like a vacuum cleaner, right? After that, you'll do the show part. In the show part, you're going to show to the child on yourself or on inanimate objects or on a model what is going to be done, and it has to be done in a non-threatening manner or scary part. And whatever you've told, you have to show. Not like you're going to tell about filling and you're going to show about extraction. Right? So whatever you're going to show, without deviating from what you've shown, you are going to explain. And third part is the do part. In the do part, you're going to carry out the treatment as had been told and showed to the child without deviating from what had been told and what had been shown to the child. Without deviating from it, you're going to show it to the child. Okay, so अब तिमीले answer लेख्दा चाहिँ tell, show, do भनेको चाहिँ what you all do is always I'm going to tell the child what is to be done, I'm going to show what is to be done, and I will do it. त्यस्तो लेख्यो भने you're not going to get marks. Internal you're not going to get marks at all. If it is a 5 marks, I'm going to give you 0.5. Otherwise, you're not going to get marks. You have to explain in the manner I just told you. Okay, that's why my little picture. So the objective is to teach the aspect of dental visit and familiarize the child with the dental setting. And second objective is to shape the response to the child so that the child gets used to what is going to be done, or the child makes his mind about what is going to be done before it is actually carried on. Okay, so first is tell. You're going to explain verbal expressions, or sometimes verbal non-verbal, like in special needs children, right? So they're going to explain the procedure, exactly what is to be done. That's why that exactly word I've highlighted in red. Okay, the voice that you use should be soft, yet firm, confident, and continuous. Okay, and you should be truthful in talking about the child. You should be truthful about talking about it to the child. 1 minute, okay? Our class. Okay, so there's such a lot of disturbance here today. Okay, so you have to be truthful about what you're going to tell to the child. Next is show. Show means a demonstration of visual, auditory, olfactory, and tactile aspects of the procedure in a non-threatening environment. Non-threatening it shouldn't be scary enough that child will run away from the dental, right? It should be non-threatening for the child. And the demonstration can be on himself or on inanimate objects. You can see here that the dentist demonstrating using an air rotor on a model, right? So you can do it in this manner also, in the child looking at it. Okay, so demonstration can be on himself or on inanimate objects. Or you can even show it in a model also. If some model is undergoing treatment or arco child is undergoing treatment, you can show tail should do the modeling mouse of it. Okay, and then you can use multisensory approach like see, touch, smell, and hear. Then the last one is do. Without deviating from the explanation and the demonstration, the dentist proceeds directly to perform the previewed operation. Okay, without however it was explained, it has to be done accordingly. So it was done, it will be done as it was explained. Now, sometimes you may have to modify tell should do for certain special needs children, like for visually impaired, you'll use tell touch do or tell smell do because you cannot show them, right? And in those who have those who cannot hear, the tail part has to be modified. Okay, so tail part has to be modified by using your using sign languages, and sometimes you may have to lip reading. Okay, so you have to modify in that manner. Now, next behavior management technique is modeling. Modeling, the other terms which are used for modeling are imitation, observational learning, identification. There are so many words used, and books also give so many, but more commonly used are observational learning. Okay, we use more commonly modeling observational learning, role taking. So it is based on Bandura's social learning theory. If I ask you, you won't know. So the answer okay, so we won't go into that. So it's based on Bandura's social learning theory. If you don't know what it is, please go back and read it. So it shows that one's learning or behavior is acquired through observation of suitable behavior that is performed by someone else. Okay, अरूले गरेको suitable behavior देखाएर तिमी पनि यस्तो गर भनेर you can make the child learn. Okay, that is the main thing. The objective is it stimulates acquisition of the behavior that you expect in the child. It facilitates the behavior. Sometimes it may already be there in the patient, but or more appropriate manner. It will facilitate. It will eliminate any avoidance behavior, and also it will decrease the fear because the child now knows what can be expected. Now, this can be done in two manners, by audiovisual and live modeling. Audiovisual, using audiovisual aids like TV or theater, and live in the dental chair, it can be done. I've already told you how the model should be. Advantages is patient's attention is obtained, desired behavior is modeled, so guidance is done and reinforcement is done. There are two kinds of models that can be used. One is a coping model and another is mastery model. Isko kati choti questions sodhnu sakcha. Okay, coping model is a model. Coping model is model who herself is learning or himself is learning to cope with the dental operator and is learning to cope with the situation, behaving in an appropriate manner, right? Mastery who has behaved properly, he knows how to behave properly in the dental clinic. Okay, so usually children tend to relate more to the coping models than the mastery models. Coping models, they'll be more used to, right? They'll also learn to cope accordingly. Now, factors affecting modeling. There are certain factors which will affect the modeling scenario. I've already told you a picture explanation. First is observer state. Observers only observe how aroused the person is, or they're not even listening to you. They'll not participate, right? How well the observer is listening to you. What is the characteristic of the model? Whether the model is someone who the child can relate to or child cannot relate to. And what are the expected consequences? If the behavior is carried on properly, what happened at the end of it? Whether the child was praised, whether the child was reciprocated for it or not. Go and attend your class. Then steps in modeling. There are certain steps in modeling. First is you have to obtain the attention of the model. I have told you in detail. Okay. Then desired behavior is modeled. Then you'll guide the behavior according to the age appropriate method. And then you reinforce the desired behavior. So that is your modeling. Next comes desensitization. Desensitization was a technique which was demonstrated by James and it was popularized by Wolf. So popularized bhaneko, he carried on more procedures in it. Okay. So desensitize means desensitize bhaneko. Sensitization like hataune, right? So D means to remove it. So taking away one's sensitivity to a particular behavior or what is causing that particular behavior. Okay, so like children who have pre-established fear and uncooperative children, we usually do it. If someone is not even sensitized to that situation, you can't do desensitization. Someone who's been sensitized to that situation in like fearful situation previously, you have to desensitize them. Okay, you cannot desensitize but a person who's not sensitized at all, right? So it's done in children who have pre-established fear and uncooperative behavior. It pairs the anxiety-provoking stimulus and response with the response which are inhibitory to stimulus. Like anxiety, jele provoke garcha and jele provoke gardaina. Tyo duitala mix garera you're going to use. Okay, so it trains the patient to relax. You'll construct a hierarchy of the fear-producing stimulus, like hierarchy भनेको lowest देखि high मा जाने, right? So or highest देखि low. So whichever is most provoking one, like injection हो भने सबैभन्दा छ fearful is injection, then a little less like so in that manner. अनि जुन सबैभन्दा least threatening छ to the child, like examination हो भने you start with examination, you'll move on to erotor, and then finally you'll move on to a saline and edicate मात्रै गर्ने injection मा पनि, and then finally injecting the child. Okay, so you'll introduce each stimulus in hierarchy in order to relax the patient. Okay, so hierarchy of fear-provoking stimulus will be created like this. Like injection is more than drill, drill is more than rubber dam is more than hand instrument, and so on. So you'll begin with the lowest one, like hand instrument, and then you'll move on to injection. That is desensitization. Now today we'll finish off with contingency management. Okay, so contingency management on a technique, say we just have 10 minutes. Okay, so it is based on operant conditioning theory, which I've already explained, operative conditioning theory by B.F. Skinner. So here reinforcers are either presented or withdrawn to get the expected behavior, right? So positive reinforcement, भनेको if the child behaves well and if you give him a gift, that is positively reinforced. It's done through presentation of reinforcer in appreciation after successful completion of dental appointment by the child, and this increases the probability that the child is going to behave good in the next appointment, right? Negative is withdrawal of the aversive stimulus to increase the frequency, like withdrawal of handpiece if the child doesn't like the handpiece. If the child is afraid of the handpiece, so that the child will accept treatment, and slowly the child will accept and trust you, and then later on they may even allow the handpiece, right? Then next is omission, sending a withdrawal of a pleasant stimulus, that is sending the parent out, taking away a toy for a short period of time until the child shows the desired behavior. Okay, punishment is giving a painful stimulus or giving a negative stimulus, which will increase the probability that child will behave better. But we usually don't give punishments, but there are certain aversive techniques in behavior management which can be taken as if those are punishments. Okay, like voice control, home, etc. So reinforcers that we use can be various kinds. The reinforcers can be material reinforcers, social reinforcers, and activity. Out of these, the most easiest one in dentistry is your social reinforcers, right? Social भनेको like praise, positive facial expression, talking to the child, because it doesn't require much effort from, or it doesn't require monetary things also, right? And others you can use as materials like stickers, toys, okay, small things, okay, it can be given by parents also. Activity भनेको participating in a preferred activity with a child, which may not be that feasible, but it can be done. Okay, so till here we'll do today, and next class we'll continue from here, and I'll give you assignments in the next class. Okay, so next tomorrow I'll let Rekha know if I'm free tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow, because tomorrow also I'm at home. So अब मेरो खास त यो home भनेपछि it's holiday time for us. We are not going to get paid or anything. So I'm just utilizing this time so that you can at least have your class properly. Now, मैले त खासमा लिनु पर्ने त कलेज गएको दिनमै हो, for which will be paid, right? अब यो घरमा बस्ने त it's not paid, but कलेजमा it's difficult to take class. You won't be able to hear. So I'm doing voluntarily घरबाटै. Okay, so next class we'll have, if I'm free tomorrow, otherwise next week. Okay, so please read up to here. You can leave for today.